Nicole Kidman has reportedly filed for divorce from Keith Urban. The news coming just a day after reports Australia's golden couple had separated after 19 years of marriage.
Nicole Kidman and Keith Urban were together for 19 solid years. Almost 2 decades of love, fame, and music wrapped into one power couple. But in September of this year, everything came crashing down when Kidman filed for divorce. Ever since that shocking split, 2 very different stories have been floating around about what really happened between them. Keith, for his part, has spoken up several times, opening up about their breakup and trying to paint his side of the picture. Kidman, however, stayed completely silent. No interviews, no statements, nothing. Until now. So why is Nicole Kidman breaking her silence after all this time? And what does she have to say about the marriage, the split, and everything in between? Let's dive into all the juicy details and uncover what really went down behind the scenes. Nicole Kidman's complete dating history. In Hollywood, love stories often burn bright and fast, dazzling, dramatic, and sometimes doomed. And Nicole Kidman's love life? Let's just say it's been a headline maker from the very beginning. Beyond the Oscars and red carpets, her relationships have played out like their own Hollywood saga, full of passion, heartbreak, and a fair share of surprises. Before the fame that came with being Mrs. Tom Cruise, there was Tom Burlinson. The two met while filming Wind Rider back in 1986, when Nicole was still a rising star in Australia. Burlinson later described it as Nicole's first real adult relationship, a time when they were both figuring out who they were and who they wanted to be. They were young and in love, but moving in different directions. After 3 years, that chapter quietly ended. Then came Marcus Graham. Nicole and Marcus were the it couple of the late 80s in Australia, 2 young, ambitious actors who shared dreams bigger than the Sydney skyline. Their connection was strong, but everything changed when Tom Cruise entered the picture. Once Nicole met the Hollywood superstar on the set of Days of Thunder in 1990, her world tilted. Marcus later admitted that watching her leave for Los Angeles was heartbreaking. He described himself as devastated and heartbroken, but he understood that this was her big moment. Why would I want to keep her in Australia and lock her away, he reflected. There was pain, yes, but no bitterness, just the quiet ache of a man who'd loved a woman destined for a different world. That world, of course, was the one where Nicole would soon become half of one of Hollywood's most talked-about power couples, Nicole Kidman and Tom Cruise. When they met, Tom was already the Top Gun heartthrob, while Nicole was the fresh-faced newcomer from down under, just breaking into Hollywood. Sparks flew instantly. Nicole once recalled being completely mesmerized when Tom pulled up in a Porsche on set, her jaw literally dropping as he walked toward her. Within a year, they were married in a private ceremony surrounded only by close family. Behind the flashbulbs, though, their marriage was a mix of love and pain. Early on, Nicole suffered an ectopic pregnancy, which she later described as incredibly traumatic. She wanted to set the record straight after years of rumors, explaining that while she did have a miscarriage later on, the first pregnancy ended differently than the press had claimed. Amid that heartbreak, the couple built their family through adoption, welcoming Isabella in 1992 and Connor in 1995. During those years, they worked side by side, including on Stanley Kubrick's haunting masterpiece, Eyes Wide Shut. Filming tested their limits, 400 days on set, living out of a trailer, and even cooking spaghetti for Kubrick between takes. Yet Nicole remembered it fondly, saying they were working with the greatest filmmaker while raising their kids and learning about life together. To the world, they looked picture perfect. Then, in 2001, everything collapsed. Tom filed for divorce, citing irreconcilable differences, shocking Nicole and everyone around them. She later described it as a major heartbreak, something she never saw coming. Still, she spoke of him years later with warmth, saying that despite everything, she still loved him and always would. To her, he was just Tom, not the superstar, but the man she had once built a life with. After their split, both went their separate ways. Tom entered other high-profile romances, eventually marrying Katie Holmes and welcoming a daughter, Suri, before that too ended in divorce. Nicole's next chapter took a completely different turn. This time it wasn't another actor but a musician, the effortlessly cool Lenny Kravitz. They began dating in 2003 and by most accounts it was serious, even leading to a secret engagement. But a year later they parted ways. Still, they remained close. Nicole would later reveal with a smile that she'd once been engaged to Zoe Kravitz's father, a revelation that surprised fans when both women ended up starring together in Big Little Lies. Lenny, for his part, spoke warmly about that time, saying it was beautiful that Zoe and Nicole got to reconnect years later as adults. Some things just don't work, he reflected. But the wonderful thing is, we're all friends. Then came Keith Urban, the country music star who would change everything for Nicole. The two met at the G-Day USA Gala in 2005, though Keith didn't call her for months after their first meeting. Nicole later joked about it, but when he finally did reach out, their connection was instant. By June 2006, they were married in a romantic ceremony in Sydney, surrounded by friends, family, and plenty of music. Their love story quickly became one of Hollywood's most admired stories. Together, they welcomed two daughters, Sunday Rose in 2008 and Faith Margaret in 2011. Keith often spoke about how Nicole grounded him, helping him through his struggles with addiction, while Nicole described finding peace and stability with him after years of turbulence. For nearly 2 decades, they seemed untouchable, a couple that had somehow defied Hollywood's odds. But in September 2025, that illusion shattered when Nicole filed for divorce after 19 years of marriage. Fans were stunned. After everything, the love, the music, the years spent building a family, it all came crashing down. Keith has since shared pieces of his side of the story, while Nicole remained silent until now. Yet to truly understand how Nicole reached this point, how she became the woman capable of enduring heartbreak with such grace, we have to go back to the beginning. Before the Oscars, before the fame, before the messy marriages, there was just a shy Aussie girl with wild red curls and big dreams. From shy Aussie girl to Hollywood's mysterious leading lady, Nicole Mary Kidman didn't just stumble into fame, she built it brick by brick from the ground up. Born on June 20th, 1967 in Honolulu, Hawaii, to Australian parents Anthony and Janelle Kidman, she was destined for an extraordinary life. Her father was a biochemist and clinical psychologist, and her mother was a nursing instructor. Brains clearly ran in the family. Nicole also had a younger sister, Antonia, who would later become one of her closest confidants. At the time, her parents were living in the U.S. on student visas, which meant Nicole grew up holding dual citizenship, American by birth, Australian by heart. When she was just 4 years old, the Kidmans packed up their lives in Washington, D.C., and headed back to Sydney, Australia, where Nicole's story would truly begin. But before she became the Hollywood powerhouse we know today, Nicole Kidman was a shy, self-conscious teenager. She was already tall, almost her full 5 feet 11 inches, by age 13, and the teasing that came with it stung deeply. In the docuseries In Vogue the 90s, Nicole admitted she often felt awkward and out of place, saying that the teasing wasn't kind. Her pale skin also meant she couldn't spend too much time in the sun, so while other kids played outside, she found herself stayed indoors, getting lost in books. Those hours alone became her escape and, eventually, the spark that ignited her passion for storytelling and acting. At North Sydney Girls High School, Nicole's creative streak couldn't be ignored. She joined a local theater group as a young teen, and it didn't take long for people to notice her talent. One of those early believers was director Jane Campion, who encouraged her to keep going. That little push would change everything. By 16, Nicole had dropped out of school to pursue acting full-time, and in 1983, she made her film debut in Bush Christmas. That same year, she appeared in BMX Bandits, a fun Aussie adventure flick that gave her a taste of what was coming: fame. It was also around this time that Nicole met another rising actress who would become her lifelong friend, Naomi Watts. The two first crossed paths at an open call for a swimsuit commercial, bonded instantly, and later reunited on the 1991 coming-of-age film, Flirting. Long before red carpets and award speeches, they were just two ambitious girls chasing the same dream. By the late 1980s, Nicole Kidman had become one of Australia's most promising young talents, but her real breakthrough came in 1989 with the thriller Dead Calm. It was the film that made Hollywood finally sit up and take notice. Soon after came Days of Thunder, where she played a beautiful neurosurgeon opposite a then red-hot Tom Cruise. And that movie didn't just change her career, it changed her life. Nicole and Tom's on-screen chemistry spilt off camera, and before long, they were one of Hollywood's most talked-about couples. The movie itself may have gotten mixed reviews, but it introduced the world to Nicole Kidman. By the time the 1990s rolled in, Nicole wasn't just a promising star anymore. She was a force. She kept taking risks. Then came the early 2000s, and with it, a transformation. Moulin Rouge. In 2001 made her a global superstar, and the hours a year later proved she wasn't just famous, she was formidable. Her portrayal of Virginia Woolf earned her an Oscar, and for the first time the world saw Nicole not as a movie star's wife, but as one of the greatest actresses of her generation. Even as her fame skyrocketed, Nicole never shied away from taking bold, unpredictable roles. Whether it was psychological dramas, period pieces, or experimental projects, she kept audiences guessing, and that mystery became her trademark. Fast forward to September 2024, and Nicole Kidman was once again dominating headlines, this time for her award-winning turn in the steamy thriller Baby Girl. At 57, she walked away from the Venice Film Festival with the Best Actress trophy in hand, proving that her allure hadn't dimmed one bit. In Baby Girl, she played a powerful CEO entangled in a dangerous affair with a young intern, and the performance reminded everyone why she's still one of the most captivating women in film. Nicole Kidman, the scandals, the rumors, and the bold moves that shook Hollywood. Nicole Kidman might be one of Hollywood's most respected stars, but her journey hasn't been free of controversy. Behind the international success is a woman who's had to fight off rumors, scandals, and public judgment more times than anyone can count. From alleged affairs to fashion backlash and even global outrage tied to luxury brands, Nicole has weathered it all and somehow always walked away standing taller than before. Let's rewind to 2003, the year Nicole's name was splashed across headlines for all the wrong reasons. Fresh off her Oscar buzz for The Hours, she found herself caught up in affair rumors with her Cold Mountain co-star, Jude Law. The timing couldn't have been messier. Law's marriage to Sadie Frost was already unraveling. The tabloids were circling, and the world was watching. Whispers began that the two had gotten close while filming in the snowy mountains of Romania, with some tabloids flat out claiming an affair. Both Nicole and Jude shut it down immediately. Jude insisted there was absolutely no third party involved, while Nicole kept her cool, refusing to let gossip derail her career. But that didn't stop the Sun and Daily Mail from running with the story, claiming their denials were lies. For Nicole, that was the line. She took both outlets to court and won. Her lawyer called the rumors gravely damaging to her reputation, especially at such a crucial point in her career. In the end, the papers had to issue public apologies and pay damages. Nicole came out not just vindicated, but stronger, proving she wasn't a woman the media could push around. But the years that followed showed that Kidman's name would always stir conversation, no matter what she did. Fast forward to 2022, a time when social media outrage ruled everything, and Nicole once again found herself at the center of a storm. Vanity Fair had tapped her for its latest cover, but no one was ready for what they saw. Nicole, 54 at the time, posed confidently in a gray Miu Miu miniskirt set that barely left anything to the imagination. The outfit, a cropped top and dangerously short pleated skirt, had already been worn by Gen Z stars like Zendaya and Hailey Bieber. But on Nicole, it sent the internet into meltdown. Critics were quick to pounce. Some called it undignified, while others said she should dress her age. Social media trolls had a field day, but Nicole didn't flinch. In an interview with Vogue, she revealed that the outfit had actually been her idea. "They had another outfit ready for me and I was like, no, I like this one," she explained. The stylist, she recalled with a laugh, couldn't believe it. "You're willing to wear that?" Nicole's answer. "Wear it? I'm begging you to wear it." Still, she admitted she had a few doubts after the shoot, but then she shrugged them off the way only Nicole Kidman can. "There's gotta be some fun," she said. "I love the idea of being bold and not fitting into a box." That one quote summed her up perfectly: unafraid, unapologetic, and forever unpredictable. Then came the Balenciaga scandal, one of the darkest PR moments in fashion history, and Nicole's name was right in the middle of it. In late 2022, she starred in an ad campaign for the brand's Spring 2023 collection. The office-themed photo shoot looked harmless enough until Balenciaga dropped another campaign that same season, featuring children holding teddy bears dressed in bondage gear. The internet exploded, accusing the brand of promoting child exploitation. To make matters worse, eagle-eyed viewers noticed disturbing details in other Balenciaga shoots, including the one featuring Nicole, such as legal documents tied to a Supreme Court case about child sexual abuse imagery. Balenciaga was forced to issue a public apology, blaming a series of grievous errors. They even filed a lawsuit against the creative team responsible for the Bear campaign. While celebrities like Kim Kardashian and Hailey Bieber publicly distanced themselves from the brand, Nicole chose silence. She didn't post statements, delete photos, or issue apologies. Instead, she continued working with Balenciaga, showing up at their fashion shows, wearing their gowns, and supporting them as if nothing had happened. It was a move that drew both criticism and admiration. To some, she looked out of touch. To others, unbothered and fiercely loyal. In July 2024, she was even spotted at Balenciaga's Paris Couture show, sitting front row with her best friend Naomi Watts and their daughters, seemingly unfazed by the noise. But perhaps one of the most complex controversies surrounding Nicole came from her involvement in the series Expats. The show, adapted from Janice Y.K. Lee's novel, explored the lives of wealthy women living in Hong Kong amid political unrest. It sounded powerful, but from the start, trouble followed. When Nicole flew to Hong Kong in 2021 to film, she was granted a quarantine exemption, something everyday citizens didn't get. Locals were furious. Critics accused the government of bending rules for a Hollywood star while enforcing strict lockdowns on residents. The government defended the move, saying she was part of an approved production and under strict monitoring. But the optics were bad, really bad, and the drama didn't stop there. Rumors of creative clashes between Nicole and director Lulu Wang began swirling, and when Expats finally premiered on Prime Video in January 2024, Hong Kong residents realized they couldn't even watch it. The series was unavailable to stream locally, causing questions about censorship and political interference. Whether it was Amazon's decision or government control, one thing was clear: the show's message about privilege and power had spilt into real life. For Nicole Kidman, though, this wasn't unfamiliar territory. She's faced judgment, been misunderstood, and watched the media dissect her every move for decades. Yet somehow, through all the rumors and outrage, she remains unshaken. Whether she's taking tabloids to court, defending a fashion choice, or standing by a brand everyone else is canceling, Nicole doesn't just play strong women on screen, she is one in real life. But even the strongest women have moments that break them. And for Nicole, that moment came not on a film set or a red carpet, but at home. Nicole Kidman and Keith Urban, inside the heartbreaking end of a 19-year love story. When news broke in September that Nicole Kidman and Keith Urban were divorcing, the internet practically stopped breathing. Fans who had watched their nearly two-decade-long love story unfold couldn't believe it was over. 19 years of laughter, music, family, and red carpet perfection were suddenly gone. To the outside world, they looked unshakable, the rare Hollywood couple who had beaten the odds. But behind those smiles and intertwined hands, things weren't as perfect as they seemed. According to reports, the decision to end the marriage wasn't mutual. It was Keith's. Sources close to the couple revealed that Nicole had been trying desperately to hold things together for the sake of their daughters. But ultimately, it wasn't enough. When she officially filed for divorce in a Nashville court, citing irreconcilable differences, fans were left asking how a love this strong could fall apart. Nicole and Keith's story began back in January 2005 at the Jade LA Gala, an event celebrating Australians in Hollywood. Actor Jeffrey Rush introduced them, and for Nicole it was an instant attraction. But Keith hesitated. Despite their undeniable chemistry, he didn't call her for 4 months. As Nicole later joked on the Ellen DeGeneres show, she thought he just wasn't interested. Keith later admitted he was interested, but too insecure to act on it. "I wasn't in a very healthy place," he said years later. "I never thought she'd see anything in a guy like me." When he finally worked up the courage to call, everything changed. They clicked instantly, talking for hours, and everything clicked. By early 2006, they made their public debut at the Grammy Awards. And a few months later, Nicole casually dropped the news that they were engaged while hosting a Unifem gala. A few short weeks later, on June 25, 2006, they married in a stunning candlelit ceremony in Sydney, surrounded by family, friends, and fellow Aussies like Hugh Jackman, Naomi Watts, and Russell Crowe. Guests described it as deeply emotional. When Nicole and Keith looked into each other's eyes, it was like the world disappeared. But the fairy tale had cracks early on. Just 4 months into their marriage, Keith checked himself into rehab for drug and alcohol addiction. "I deeply regret the hurt this has caused Nicole," he said in a statement at the time. It was a devastating moment for the newlyweds, but Nicole didn't walk away. She stood by him, quietly and patiently, choosing love over pride. Keith later called that moment life-saving, saying Nicole's strength helped him face his demons. Still, it wasn't smooth sailing. Rumors began swirling that Keith had been unfaithful before the wedding, with model Amanda Wyatt claiming he had cheated right up to just before they got married. Neither of them ever commented, but Nicole later acknowledged how hard those early years were. "We were in a very, very painful place," she shared in a Vanity Fair interview. "But we managed to step through it." She said she had learned what it meant to love someone in recovery, and she was determined to walk that journey with him. Her faith was rewarded. By early 2008, Nicole announced she was expecting. She and Keith were overjoyed, and in July that year they welcomed their first daughter, Sunday Rose. 2 years later, their family grew again when their second daughter, Faith Margaret, was born via surrogate. For Nicole, it was a dream fulfilled. "Our family is truly blessed," they said in a joint statement, grateful to everyone who helped them on their journey to parenthood. The next decade of their marriage was filled with love and plenty of public affection. Keith couldn't stop gushing about Nicole in interviews, calling her his spiritual other half. She was just as smitten, often describing him as the man she had prayed for, even through heartbreak. Like when Nicole lost her father in 2014, Keith was her rock. She told Ellen DeGeneres how he carried her through that grief, both literally and emotionally. They celebrated anniversaries with cheeky throwback photos and passionate red carpet moments, Keith grabbing her waist or sneaking a kiss mid-interview. Their love always looked real, raw, and joyful. On their 10th anniversary, Keith posted their very first photo together, writing, "Happy anniversary, baby. Love you, Nicole returned the favor by posting a steamy photo of Keith kissing her neck, proving they still had that spark. For years, they seemed to have cracked the Hollywood marriage code, balancing fame with family, success with simplicity. Nicole credited their quiet life in Nashville for keeping them grounded. They kept things low-key with school runs, family dinners, and long breaks from the spotlight to focus on each other. Fans saw them as proof that real love could survive fame. But somewhere along the way, things shifted. Behind the smiles and social media posts, their connection began to fray. Sources say Keith's career pressures and constant touring created distance, while Nicole's growing workload kept her away from home more often. Insiders claimed that Nicole wanted to fight for the marriage, but Keith had already emotionally checked out. By the summer of 2025, rumors started circulating that the couple were living separate lives. Keith reportedly moved into his own Nashville home, and Nicole was said to be holding the family together as best as she could. When TMZ confirmed the separation, fans were blindsided. A couple that had survived addiction, rumors, and loss had finally hit a wall they couldn't climb over. When Nicole officially filed for divorce, it became painfully real. Court documents cited irreconcilable differences, the same phrase used in so many Hollywood splits, but this one hit differently. This was the couple everyone thought would make it. It's still unclear what truly caused the final breakdown. Some whisper it was distance, while others say time simply changed them. But what's certain is that Nicole didn't want this. She fought to keep the marriage alive until the very end. Looking back, their story feels almost cinematic. Two lonely souls finding each other, saving each other, and then slowly drifting apart. They had their share of darkness, but also moments of pure love that millions could feel just by looking at them. Yet even the most beautiful stories sometimes end on a note no one expects. And for Nicole Kidman, that note came with a shocking twist. Nicole Kidman finally admits why she divorced Keith Urban, and it's bad. When the news first broke that Nicole Kidman and Keith Urban were getting divorced, fans were in disbelief. 19 years of marriage, 2 daughters, and a love story that seemed to defy Hollywood's odds were all gone in an instant. But just when people began to process the heartbreak, shocking rumors started surfacing. At first, it was whispered that Keith had been unfaithful. Then came reports that he wasn't seeing just one woman, but 2. According to Rob Shooter's #Shooter Scoop, the country star has been romantically linked to 2 different women amid the couple's divorce proceedings, and the revelation reportedly left Nicole floored. An insider shared that the actress isn't exactly disputing the rumors, but is deeply shaken by them. Nicole isn't disputing the rumors, but she's floored by how blatant it all feels, the source revealed. After nearly 2 decades of loyalty and devotion, it's hard to imagine how devastating that must feel. The drama first took off after Keith's Las Vegas performance alongside 25-year-old country guitarist Maggie Baugh. During his hit song The Fighter, famously written about Nicole, he stunned fans by changing the lyrics mid-performance to, "Maggie, I'll be your guitar player." That one small lyric swap sent the internet into chaos. Fans flooded social media with questions, wondering why he would publicly serenade another woman with a song that symbolized his marriage. To make matters worse, he was later spotted with another mysterious woman, fueling even more speculation that there might be more going on behind the scenes. Meanwhile, Nicole reportedly filed for divorce in Tennessee on September 30th, citing irreconcilable differences. Sources claim she was blindsided by Keith's decision to end things and had been trying to keep the marriage together for the sake of their family. But after almost 20 years, even she couldn't save it. Still, if there's one thing Nicole Kidman knows how to do, it's survive. In her first public interview after the split with Harper's Bazaar, the Oscar winner didn't talk about the scandal directly, but her words said enough. Reflecting on life, aging, and wisdom, she shared, "I've seen a lot, I've experienced a lot, and I've survived a lot. I want to pass on some of that knowledge and that wisdom." Her tone was calm but powerful, the voice of a woman who's been through fire and came out stronger. There's something to knowing that no matter how painful or how devastating something is, there is a way through, she said. You're going to feel it. You're going to feel like you're broken. But if you move gently and slowly, it does pass. And perhaps most telling of all was something Nicole said months before the world even knew about the divorce. In her Vogue cover story from late August, she seemed to foreshadow the heartbreak ahead. How many times do you have to be taught that you think you know where your life is going, and then it isn't going in that direction? That line now hits differently, like the quiet acknowledgement of a woman who already saw her fairy tale slipping away. Today, sources close to the Big Little Lies star say she's handling everything with grace. Nicole has a good attitude about everything, and life goes on, one insider told People. What are your thoughts on the split? Do you think Keith Urban really cheated on Nicole Kidman, or do you think otherwise? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Also, click the next video shown on your screen. You will enjoy it.